सावधूतम्
Hare Krishna, Arjuna Sakha Prabhu ji, Dandavad Pranams.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavad Pranam Prabhu.
Dandavad Pranams. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome all of you for the today's morning program. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Just 1 minute. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, we are very fortunate to have His Grace Arjuna Sakha Prabhu. And Prabhu will enlighten us on Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, 12th chapter, and text 1 and 2. Over to you, Prabhu ji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Give me 1 minute, Prabhu. I'm just joining from my laptop. It is.
Yes, Prabhu ji.
सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्यदेवम् श्रीराधा कृष्णपदां सगन ललिता
Arjuna Sakha Prabhu ji, you can start, Prabhu ji.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Dandavad Pranam Prabhu. Am I audible, Prabhu, properly?
Yes, Prabhu ji.
Start. So you need to share the screen, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu ji, I can share.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devi Saraswati Vyasam Tado Jayat Mudurae Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangulangayate Girim Jatkrupatamaham Bande Sri Guru Dinatarine Sunyatam Sukatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hrudayantasto Avadrani Vibhunoti Sahasritam Nashtaprayeshu Abhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttama Shlokir Bhaktir Bhavati Naistike Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanamane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prachari Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Asya Guru Gauranga Ki Jai. For glories to Sri Prabhupada. So this is the first verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 12. And this is the chapter is called the Maharaj Rahugun, the discussion between Maharaj Rahugun and Jada Bharat. So this is a very wonderful subject for all the practicing devotees, because there is a huge essence of devotional services deep inside, and we need to be very careful while delivering as well as listening this katha. So let's start with this. Rahugan Vach. Rahugan Uvach. Namo Namakkarana Vigrahaya Sarupatat Sukrit Vigrahaya Namo Avadhuta Dijabandhulingo Niguna Nitya Anubhavaya Tubhyam Namo Namakarana Vigrahaya Sarupatuchi Kruta Vigrahaya Namo Avadhuta Dijabandhulinga Niguna Nitya Anubhavaya Tubhyam. Verse 2. Jaramaya Tisajat Sat Jaramaya Tasjathat Gamashat Nidhaya Dakhyam Dagnasta Jatha Him Ambha Kudehamana Hi Vidista Dishre Brahman Vachate Amrutam Oshadham Me Jaramaya Tasya Jatha Agdamasat Nidadya Dagdhasya Jatha Hima Amba Kudehamana Hi Vidista Dishre Brahman Vachote Amrutam Oshadham Me. Hare Krishna. So let's read the any Prabhuji Mataji would like to recite, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Prabhu, Srimad Bhagavatam 5.12.1. Rahugana Uvacha Namo Namah Karana Vigrahaya Swarupa Tucci Kruta Vigrahaya Namo Avadhuta Dvijabandhu Linga Nighuda Nityanubhavaya Tubhyam.
Okay. Any Prabhuji? Verse 2, can read.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Jvaramaya ratasya yata gadam sat nidagda dagdasya yata himambaha kudehamandi vidasta drishti brahman vachaste amrutam aushadam me. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Sorry.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So let's go to the purport and translation. President Prabhu. Rahugana Uvacha. Rahugana said, translation. King Rahugana said, O most exalted personality, you are not different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By the influence of your true self, all kinds of contradiction in the Shastras have been removed. In the dress of a friend of a Brahmana, you are hiding your transcendental blissful position. I offer my respectable obeisances unto you. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. From Brahma Samhita, we understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the cause of all causes. Sarva Karana Karana. Rishabdev was a direct incarnation of Supreme Personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes. His son, Bharat Maharaj, was now acting as the Brahmana Jada Bharat, has received his body from the cause of all causes. Therefore, he is addressed as Karana. Can you bring down? Karana Vigraha. Karana Vigraha. Next, Prabhu. Thank you. O best of the Brahmanas, my body is filled with the dirty things, and my vision has been beaten by the serpent of pride. Due to my mental conception, I am diseased. Your nectarian instructions are the proper medicines for one suffering from such a fever, and their cooling water for one scorched by the heat. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The conditioned soul has a body full of dirty things, bones, blood, urine, stool, and so forth. Nonetheless, the most intelligent men in this material world think they are this combination of blood, bone, urine, and stool. If this is so, why can't other intelligent men be made with these ingredients, which are so readily available? The entire world is going on under the bodily conception and creating a hellish conditions unfit for any gentleman's living. The instruction given to King Rahugana by Jadabharat are very valuable. The instruction given to King Rahugana by Jadabharat are very valuable. They're like the medicine that can save one from the snake bite. The Vedic instructions are like nectar and cool water for the suffering from the scorching heat. Om Jnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakyurunmilitam Jenam Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamaiham Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Jutapada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavanshamsha Sri Rupam Shagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vidam Tam Shajivam Sadvitam Shavadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakha Nitansha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishavanashute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Mancha Kalpatarubhishya Kripa Sindhuvaye Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivashadi Gauru Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna. So thank you very much, Prabhuji, for giving this opportunity, and thanks to Srila Prabhupada for all the glories to Srila Prabhupada. And we are hearing Srimad Bhagavatam on daily basis. So this is a carry forward discussion happening between King Jadabharat and King Rahugan. So in this previous chapter that we've seen three important points. In the entire discussion of the previous chapter, we could see that one thing that we cannot, or the Dehatma Bodh, the human with Dehatma Bodh in the material conception of life, material consciousness, body consciousness cannot understand the nectar, cannot taste the nectar of Krishna Katha, Harikatha. And second point is, with the mundane mind is the cause of all troubles. And unless you control the mind, you cannot have the test, develop this test to get association of Hari and association of Hari Bhakta. And third is by the association of the pure devotee, we can get the taste of the nectar. So these three important points that we discussed, and this is the carry forward discussion happening between King Rahugan and Jadabharat. Now, the more and more inquisitive comes. What is this essential quality of a devotee is becoming inquisitive to hear Krishna Katha. Saddha, Bhakti, Rati. Rati is the most important points. Rati is the attachment. And how you are understanding that we are progressing in the spiritual life, if you are developing the Rati, that interest and inquisitiveness to listen more and more and more Krishna Katha. That is the most important parameter of success in devotional service. So here King Rahugan is addressing Jada Bharat as a Brahman, right? And he could understand the quality. If you can see this pastime, this is the only devotee in the entire Srimad Bhagavatam and the dedicated chapters being described the characteristics, exclusive characteristic of Jada Bharat. The two very special chapters has been described, been given, the place been given for Jada Bharat. And he could demonstrate with humility. And Rahu Bharat was very intelligent to get the essence of the quality being exemplified by Jada Bharat. And he could understand Jada Bharat is not an ordinary human being. He is situated in the platform of Krishna consciousness, the God consciousness, in the full consciousness. Though he is swaying the body, though he is swaying in a very want to hide something, but deep inside his consciousness, there is many things is hidden. And now he's addressing Jada Bharat as what? As the Karana Vigrahaya. And Prabhupada said Karana Vigrahaya because his body is coming from whom? The Rishabdev, and is the incarnation of Lord. And that is also is a part of the Karana Vigrahaya. Sarupa Tachkruta Vigrahaya. And because Dijabandhu Linga also, that is also very important. Avadhuta means Yogeshwara. Dijabandhu Linga is Brahman Kul. That means in this born in the family, he is demonstrating all the quality of a Brahman. Though he is born in a Kshatriya family, but what he is doing? Brahmana Linga means he is demonstrating all the quality of a Brahman. Right? And you understand in the Vedic principles, the Guna Karma Vibhagasha, not because of the birth. And here we can see the Guna quality as well as the activities. And because of this, Rahugan is addressing Jada Bharat as the Sarva Karanam, as the Karana Vigrahaya. And he's paying his obeisance onto his lotus feet. And also he's addressing as Brahmana Srishta. Brahmana Srishta means he's this most highest of the Brahmanas. And he is now he's demonstrating the real essential quality of a devotee. He's admitting that he has got all the deformities, acceptance. Second is praising someone of higher level, higher categories, understanding the quality of a devotee and praising, accepting and praising. And finally, what he's saying is accepting his words are the nectar and the medicines, the very important medicine for the disease he is undergoing. So this is very important points that we need to understand. And here in this particular chapter, particular verse, we can see the cause of the pride. Pride is the hindrance, great hindrance for the devotional service. Once Srila Prabhupada was going through one of this river, frozen river, and Prabhupada was going through, walking through some of his associates and devotees. And Prabhupada, he is having this a stick in his hand most of the time. And Prabhupada took the devotees to the mid of the river and he started hitting this ice, frozen ice. And it says, you see, this is a frozen ice, but under this is the real water. And he demonstrated one very, very important point. What he says, this is like a Dehatma Bodh. Like as the ice is covered, the water, but the real constitutionally, the originality is the water, liquid water, but it is covered by the ice because of the particular condition. And similarly, we all have the conditioned life, and unless this ice gets broken, we cannot get the real ice, the real water. We cannot get the real water unless we break this ice. what we learn from here. Prabhupada wants to demonstrate or say that means we all have a covering in the form of the material body. That is called the Dehatma Bodha. And unless we get rid of this Dehatma Bodha, that means in terms of, unless we transcend from the Dehatma Bodha, we cannot reach to the real, original, constitutional position of a life. That is Atma Bodha. From Dehatma Bodha, we need to migrate, transmigrate, or maybe transcendent from the Dehatma Bodha to Atma Bodha. And that is the real constitutional position of a human being or a jiva. And Prabhupada wanted to demonstrate through this eyes. And what now Rahugan, King Rahugan is giving a point. That means my pride, I am beaten by a serpent of pride. I'm beaten by the serpent of the pride. And you all know, suppose anybody, you might have seen anybody who's been bitten by a snake. I'm seeing a couple of people died just in front of my own eyes by a snake bite. And I can see what kind of pain, what kind of all the pain they undergo, that is very much demonstrated. And it is very, very dangerous, particularly when there is a very deadly snake like cobra, king cobra bites. That's a very dangerous situation. And since here what he's saying, I'm bitten by the pride, snake of pride. And when you are bitten by the snake of pride, there is no scope, there is no hope. But your nectar, the katha, is the medicine for this critical condition. First acceptance. I'm bitten by snake. I have pride. Many of us who don't understand that we have a problem. Arjuna, in the Mahabharata Yuddha, Kurukshetra, Arjuna could understand there is a deformity in him. He is engulfed by various deformities. Karpunya dosha, bohat subhav. He could realize that I'm undergoing some deformities in my life. And that is caused by what? Because of my own problem, Karpunya dosha. And I have, again, second acceptance is that he has accepted that he has fallen down from his constitutional position. Upahat sabhav. His conditional position has been constitutional position. He has fallen down from his constitutional position. And now what happens? And he has forgotten what is good and bad, what is dharma and adharma. Prachami tvam dharma samurachita. Now, because of this, what happens? Because Arjuna could realize, I don't have anything, any alternative than to go to a guru. And here Rahugana has also accepted that he has got no alternative. He needs it. Immediately he needs medicine. He's suffering because of the pride. He's suffering because of the snake bite in the form of pride. And there is no hope. There is no scope. And he himself has got no position, or maybe he has got no capability to get rid of this critical situation. Right? And now he accepted, and what he's saying, that he's accepting his medicine, the only medicine for him is the katha, or the advice, or maybe demurs of Jadabharat. Now he is comparing this katha, Krishna katha, as what? The eyes for this born body. Suppose you are, well, because he is suffering out of the pride, and because he needs his medicine for that, and because of that, his intelligence also gone. And Upadesh, the advice of Jadabharat would be the nectar. He'll be working as a nectar and also the medicine for his disease. Now, Prabhupada explained about the constitutional position, those people, those who are around and who are living in constitutional, that means they're fallen down from constitutional position and living in Dehatma Bodha. That is a very precarious situation. And what we understand we understand this body is nothing but the bone, the flesh, the blood, the stool, ityadi, etc. Aham mameti. Aham mameti. I am myself. And Durjadhan, what is the situation of Duryodhan? You can understand from this point of view. Runam krutva grutam pibet javat jibet sukham jibet. Vashibhutasya dehasya kutah punaragaman bhuvet. And this is the principle of Duryodhan. The body once gone is gone forever. Who knows after that? So whatever time that we have, we should live with lavish. Runam krutva grutam pibet. Even by taking loan, we should enjoy. Javat jibet sukham jibet. The only objective is to enjoyment, sense enjoyment. And because of the sense enjoyment, what happens? We fall down. We don't know. We get problem. And the biggest problem is the pride. So in this case, what happens? Krishna says, be careful. Be careful. We should be very, very careful about this particular things. Dhyayato vishayan punsam sangam teshu pachayate. Sangat sanchayate kamat krodhat avijayat. Krodhat laboti sammoha. The sammoha, the pride, the sammoha comes very, very, very from the very first thing is the association of the Dehatma Bodha. And we have plenty of example in Srimad Bhagavatam as well as in Chaitanya Charitamrita. We can see good number of examples. And Kunti Maharani is also praying with very humility. What is the prayer of Kunti Maharani? Kunti Maharani says, "Oh Lord, please help me. Please help me so that I'll be always in association of you." Even she says about Janma Ascharya Shruti Srivir. Janma Ascharya. First thing is the Janma. The taking bath in a very prosperous, the affluence family. Ascharya, the prosperity. Sruta means the learning, the knowledge, the wisdom. The first is, and finally is the Srivi. Sri is Sundarata, beauty. These are the four things that will be causing the hindrance for your devotional service. Idhamama madaha. Mada means pride. It brings pride. Jnanam, Ascharya, Sruta, Sri. This is the cause of the pride for the mundane people. Uman. Naivartaya abhidhutam. And they never understand the real position and also understand the importance of the spirituality. And here let's understand these four important points and how from Srimad Bhagavatam, these four things engulf people and make them fall down. First example is King Bena. King Bena inherited an amazing amount of wealth and power. He is the Chakrabarti Samrat of the entire earth. And out of this, he started popped off. He became popped off. Became excessively proud due to his material prosperity. His arrogance led him to reject the principle of dharma and exploit his subject. He started exploiting all his subject. And he straightway says no to any kind of yajna and the dharma in his kingdom. He even forbade the worship of the Supreme Lord, and which ultimately led to his downfall on the sage. And finally, what happens? The Brahmanas came together and they started thinking or maybe exploring options how to get rid of this King Bena. And finally, you all know that King Bena was killed by the Brahmanas, those who are the intelligent head of this kingdom. And they themselves killed King Bena with mantra. And so that they can protect their kingdom from further corruptions. What is the lesson that we learn from it? The material wealth and power can lead to pride, causing one to forget the importance of humility and righteousness. Dharmantu sakhyat nihitam. Dharma rakhyati rakhyata. For a king, being righteousness is the supreme, one of the very, very, very important points, important characteristics. Without situating in this dharma, you cannot rule a kingdom. Otherwise, the entire kingdom will be spoiled. And the Brahmana wanted to protect the kingdom from King Vena so that they can revive the dharma. And King Vena here forget the humility. There is no Vinamrata. What is the Vinamrata? Is the essence for devotional service. And to understand the spirituality, understand the dharma. But here, the problem is because of the excessive pride causing due to the material association and the possession of the power, it's cause of the fall down of the King Vena. Another example, let's take another example. Because of the learning and the knowledge, what Kunti Maharani is praying. First is the wealth and power, and second is this ability, the knowledge. We can take the example of Roma Hudson. Roma Hudson is a very learned sage, right? Very, very highly scholarly sage. But he was engulfed with pride. And when Balram was entering into this Sabha, and he's sitting in the Vyasasana, and he didn't pay any ovations, nor his put any gesture looking at Balramji, Lord Balram. And Balram could understood the pride of Roma Harshan. And being a guru, he wanted to teach us that humility is the primary and essential quality of any of the Kathavachak. And without humility, you cannot even glorify the Lord. And that is a supreme characteristics. One must demonstrate that. And here, Lord Balaram killed Roma Harshan. And what is the lesson that we're learning? Pride is one of the abilities of knowledge can lead to disrespecting others. Because of the pride, we tend to forget who we are and underestimate others. And because of that, what do? We try to prove that we are better. And we started disrespecting others. And even those who are divinely empowered, and supremely situated, and that is the cause of the spiritual regression. We can take the example of whom? The Brahmaji. The Brahmaji could rectify it because of this mercy of Krishna. What Brahmaji wanted in the Brahma Vimohan Lila, he was having two motives. He wanted to test Krishna's presence. He wanted to test whether Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, wanted to see the strength and power of Krishna, and also he wanted to demonstrate his own power. Demonstrating own power in front of whom? Krishna. That is the cause of the very precarious situation. But no doubt, Krishna is very merciful. Brahmaji is situated in a very elevated position, and he could realize. And if you read the Brahma Vimohan Lila, particularly in the last verse of Sukdev Goswami, he demonstrated three things very importantly. What happened after Brahma realized that he is engulfed with pride, and because of the pride, he wanted to test Krishna and demonstrated his own ability. But by understanding all this, what he did, there is very important points. With the utmost humiliation, he fallen down in the lotus feet of the Lord, like a stick falling in the floor. The very first thing. And how he did it? He was having the mukut, the crowns, and he put the crowns, the tip of the crown in the floor itself. That shows the demonstration of humility that I am totally fallen in. I have nothing in front of you. Because that is the mercy that comes from Krishna, and he could realize that. And the first thing he demonstrated is fallen down. He shown his excessive vinamrata, humility. Vinamrata. Second is agraha. Vinamrata, agrahya. Agraha means inquisitiveness. Rati, attachment, inquisitiveness. Oh Lord, please let me know. Please forgive me. Please let me know how can I learn you, how can I understand you. So with utmost humility, with utmost agraha, and also with complete attachment to the Lord, with complete absorption. The third point is absorption in the mind. Whatever Krishna utters, I'll observe with full, complete concentration and focus. So these three qualities demonstrated by Brahma after understanding the pride, but that comes only after the mercy of the Lord. Otherwise, if the mercy were not that, if he was not in front of Krishna, would have gone. Situation would have been different. So in this case, Ramaharsana did the mistake. He never shown respect to Balram. And because of that, Balramji he killed him. Ahankare matta haya, nitai pada pasuriya, asatyera satyakari mani. What is asatya? I am aham mameti. I am everything. Siddho aham balavan sukhi. Right? I am empowered. I am more powerful. I am having strength. I am the happiest. So when it comes, disrespect definitely engulfs you. You are definitely disrespecting others, even the Vaishnavas. And that's why Balram killed him. Right. Let's understand the third points. Noble or the high family. When you are taking birth of the highly wealthy family, prestigious family, or maybe affluence family, what happens? Example of Nala Kubera. Being the son of Kubera, the fully wealth, everywhere, surrounded by plenty of wealth. And Nala Kubera and Manigriva, what they did? They become pride. They take pride. They're very proud due to their noble birth and their father's wealth and influence. They indulge in sense gratification, and they're taking bath along with all their girlfriends in the river. And when Narad Muni was coming, he looked at Narada and they started mocking Narada. Because he was thinking, my father is a big wealthy man and nobody can hurt me. Nobody can do anything for me. And I am the supreme pearl. And nobody is compared to me. So he started disrespecting Narada Muni. And what happens? Immediately Narada Muni cursed him. And you are demonstrating behavior of him by being naked. And that is shamelessly you both are coming in front of me. And you are demonstrating the quality of a tree. So two things that you can see. One is the curse, and second is the mercy. Vaishnava never be satisfied with giving curse. They'll always be associated with the mercy because they understand the essence. They have empathized them. And Narad Muni cursed Nala Kuber and Manigriva. And immediately both of them turned into trees. That pride is gone. They popped up because of the pride, and the pride is gone in front of Narad Muni, and Narad Muni cursed them. But he given the benediction, the Krishna will come and liberate you. And Lord Krishna came and liberated him. And you understand the Damodar Leela, right? This is the pride, the cause. What is the lesson that you're learning? Pride stemming from noble birth can lead to degradation unless one remains humble and devoted. So what is the reality? Unless you are devoted, the pride will definitely engulf you. The third example. Let's understand some example from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Material wealth and power. Sorry. Learn, scholar, wisdoms, full of knowledge. Devanand Pandit is designated as Pandit. What do you mean by Pandit? Pandit is having all the knowledge. But what Chaitanya, Chanakya Pandit has given a definition of Pandit, but this Pandit is different from the definition of Chanakya Pandit. Matruvat paradareshu paradrabbeshu jostika Atmavat sarva bhutesu ja pashyati sa pandita. This is the definition of a pandita. Matruvat paradareshu. Every woman should be seen as a mother, considered as a mother. Those who consider every woman as his mother, matruvat paradareshu, paradrabeshu jostita. And he consider everybody's others' property as what? As the people on the road. Paradrabeshu jostita. Atmavat sarva bhuteshu. Whomever see, he can see the Atma. He can see the presence of Krishna and the presence of this Atman in every living being. Atmavat sarva bhuteshu. Yaha ja pasyati. Those who see all this are the real Pandita. Otherwise, what? Otherwise, will be popped off. So, what happens to Devanand Pandita? Devanand, I'll not go deep into the stories because lengthy stories with the interest of the time. So, what happened? Devanand Pandit was narrating Krishna Katha, Srimad Bhagavatam in his own ashram. And he's a good speaker. He's a good speaker, orator. And what happens? Srinivas Acharya went to his house. And, sorry, is Srinivas Acharya? And Devanand Pandit was taking very high pride because he is a scholar and he understands Srimad Bhagavatam and he can narrate Srimad Bhagavatam. And it is Srinivas Thakur. He went to his house to hear Krishna Katha. And he was, it is the Krishna Lila is going on, and Srinivas Thakur started flowing. This is deeply immersed in Krishna concept, Krishna Lila. And while listening and remembering Krishna Katha, Krishna Lila, he started crying. And what happened? Immediately, the followers of Devanand Pandit started feeling that he is a sentimentalist, emotional sentimentalist. Many people also tells us that devotional service is nothing but the emotional sentimentalism. What does it mean? Because they don't know exactly what is emotional sentimentalism. So they're thinking that this person is creating trouble because of his emotional sentimentalism, and please throw him away. And his devotee, his followers, picked Srinivas Acharya, Srinivas Thakur, and throw him out of this room. And being you're sitting in the Vyasasana and you are looking at it silently. Devanand Pandit was silently observing and he didn't say anything because he's giving the acceptance that Srinivas Thakur is crying and creating troubles and disturbance. And that is the cause of his fall down. Devanand's pride in his scholarly knowledge and lack of understanding for the true devotion. He was very scholarly. He could narrate everything, but he was not having the devotional touch. And that led to his spiritual degradation. He was chastised by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Very brutally he chastised. And to emphasize that Bhagavatam should not be narrated and cannot be understood by only through pure, it can only be understood through pure devotion, nothing else, not with mere scholarship. And that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as well as our parampara always forbid us to listen Srimad Bhagavatam from scholarly people without having parampara or coming from parampara, because they don't understand the essence of the devotion service. And it is only because of what is the thing? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu become merciful. And again, because of this, Bakrishwar Pandit interfered. And because of the interference and the submissive interference of Bakrishwar Pandit, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could realize, let him give a chance. And that's how Devanand Pandit was liberated. Otherwise, he was popped up because of the scholarly knowledge and wisdom. Gopala Chakravarti, another example. He was a tax collector, and he was having very highly scholar positions in the Navadvip. Kazi, he was serving to Kazi, and when Haridas Thakur was glorifying Lord, and he was trying to give Harinam to Gopala Chakrabarti, what happened? Though he's having the title of Chakrabarti, but he derided, mocked at Haridas Thakur. And he sown an offense against Haridas Thakur, Vaishnava Aparadh. And he wanted to prove that Haridas is wrong. Krishna is not supreme. He wanted to prove the Harinam is not supreme. And he mocked Haridas Thakur. And he was saying that aapka jo katha hai, your statements are exaggerated. So it is not applicable in the modern world. And because of this, because he was offensive against Haridas Thakur, that is the cause of falling down. And he got leprosy. He was caught up by leprosy. And he lost his finger, nose, everything is gone. It has been taken away by leprosy. Severe physical and spiritual suffering. It causes the spiritual and suffering, a great deal of physical and spiritual suffering. Not only he could realize that he is suffering physically, but also he started realizing that he's suffering physically also. And this highlights what is the lesson that you are learning. This is the danger of pride in one's knowledge and the severe consequence of offending a devotee of the Lord. And when you are popped off, that you forget who you are and who are others. Dhyayato Vishayan Punsam Sangam Teshu Pujayate Sangat Sanchayate Kamat Kamat Krodha Vijayate Krodhat Laboti Shammoha Samboha Sruti Vibhu. Here it plays a role. It makes you forget because you are diseased now. And what is the biggest disease Prabhupada says and need to be cured immediately? There is forgetfulness. Krishna Bhuliya Ji Bhagavan Chakare Pachate Mayatare Japyatare. Because of the disease of the forgetfulness, what happens? I forget my constitutional position. Who am I? Jiver Swarupa Krishna Nityadas Krishna Tatastha Sakti Vidabhit Prakash. I forget I am the constitutional position is to serve Krishna. Constitutional position is to serve Krishna. That I forget. And we forget others' position also. Because we are angered. Shruti Birbrahma and Shruti Bhansa Buddhinasha. And because we forget, our intelligence is captivated by Maya. Maya Upahuta Jnanam. And what happens? Asurim Bhavam Asri. And it takes shelter of the Asuri Bhavam. And Rakshasim Asurim Chayam Prakriti Mohinim Shrita. And because of the Akhyasi and Rakhyasi and Asuric quality, demonic quality of the Maya, what happened? Will take shelter of the Maya. And Maya take the opportunity. Maya takes the opportunity. Pachate Maya Kari Chap. I got another person I can play around. So what Prabhupada says, the one thing we must do is to get rid of the disease of forgetfulness. Ahankare matta haya radha nitai pada pasuriya asattera satya karuna nitaira charana nitya tahara shiva nitaira charana satya tahara sevaka nitya. Then only you can understand this essence of Krishna Katha. Who am I? What I am doing? What is my objective? Where I need to go? How I can go? The inquisitive begins. And Prabhupada says this is the real beginning of the life. In Brahma Vimohan Lila, very beautifully wanted to understand what is the quality of a devotee. And why quality? Why? Because of what quality? The devotee never come down from their position. This is a very wonderful point. I just wanted to highlight it. Yeah. Satamayam sarabhutam nisargo यथार्थवाणी श्रुतिचेतसामपि प्रतीक्षणं नव्यवत् अच्युतस्य प्रतीक्षणं नित्यवत् अच्युतस्य यतः स्त्रिया पिठानाम् इव साधुवार्ता. Very beautifully explained by Sukadeva Goswami. He says, and why he's giving? He wanted to give the nectar of Harikatha. And beginning of this Brahma Vimohan Lila, Sukadeva Goswami explained the importance of Harikatha. And he wanted to say, the Guru is always inquisitive to give the best of the best, tattva, the secret, the topmost secret, guhyatamam jnanam, guhyatamam tattva to his disciple. And with this particular chapter, with this particular lila of Krishna, I want to give you the best of the best, or maybe the guhyatamam jnanam, guhyatamam tattva to you. And immediately after giving the statement to Sukadeva Goswami says this particular point. What he says, Satam means the devotee. The devotee never fall down, because what is the quality of the devotee? Jivan Kasar, he understands the essence of the life, the first thing. And they accept the essence of the life. What is that? I'm a spiritual servant of the Lord. And what? Antakaran, Anubhav, they realize the presence of Krishna each and every moment in the heart. Third, they keep the one and only objective in life, that Krishna is the supreme personality and this is my only objective. Satyam Shray. And finally, what it says, they are always, pratikshan, every moment, they releases the nectar of Krishna Katha. Each and every moment, they releases the nectar of Krishna Katha. And what happens? And that's releasement is becoming new and new. They get a new, every time they get different tests, better and better tests, each and every moment. And they always develop the inquisitiveness, rati, anurakti, for listening the glories of the Lord. And that is the reason, never deviate from that path. And he has given the example, in contrary to that, the same quality is also getting demonstrated by the materially possessed, the Dehatma Bodha. And what happens? The Dehatma people also demonstrate the same thing, but the attachment is home with the opposite sex, the Striya, and also the material subject, the opposite sex and the material subject, Ghar Parivar, Ghar Gruhast, Gruhmedina. And that's why this is a very precarious situation for the conditioned soul and the very elevated situation for a supreme, the Satam, that is a devotee. And what is the for us? And Prabhupada always says, shield yourself from prides, prejudice, and also Isha. And how we can shield ourselves? By chanting the Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Mahamantra, taking the shelter of Guru, taking the shelter of devotees in the devotee association. And we consistently, the devotee association will give us this realization that I am a spiritual soul, not a material body. This energy of chanting the holy name will come from the association. The chanting of holy name, the power of empowerment will come from Vaishnavas association and the seva that we are doing. And that how we can shield ourselves, protect ourselves from particularly the pride, and we can save ourselves from the disease. Because Harikatha is the essence. Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam kavi vediditam kalmashapa Sravana Mangalam Sri Madatatam Vigunantite Pridasha. So this is the essential of life. And that's why if you look at all the Mahajan, they're always showing their excessive demonstrated, the inquisitiveness for listening Harikatha. Hare Krishna, we have already 8:14 now. And please forgive me, and I offer my obeisance to all of you. And I request prayer as well as the forgiveness from all of you if I have done any kind of offense or mistake while describe the Krishna Katha. Thank you very much, and I will invite all of you to please, if you have any points to add, or if you have any questions, you can take one or two, please.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for the very wonderful and instructive class for day to days. Like we started with what the Srimad Bhagavatam 5:11 talks about, like Dehatma Buddhi, which is the body consciousness, which you cannot taste the nectar of Harikatha. Then you talked about the second point, that is previous chapter is mundane mind, which is the cause of all troubles, and the third one is in the association of pure devotees, one can taste the nectar of Harikatha. Then you mentioned about the Jada Bharat call, like Karna Vigrahaya, the reasons for calling. And then Srila Prabhupada saying, like, with the example of touching the water with the Srila Prabhupada stick. So everybody, how everybody is covered by the ice. Until ice break, I mean, we break the ice, we cannot see the actual water under. Then that is where, like, we have to go from the Dehatma Buddhi to Atma Buddhi. Then Ravana says he has beaten by the snake of pride, and it is case with all of us, maybe especially to me. And there is no hope. So they're like Jarabartha instructions are medicines for this thing. And then Arjuna also talking about like how he fell down from this Swabhava, and then understood the difference between him and the Krishna. So these things. Then Srila Prabhupada explaining about the what is the Dehatma Buddhi. So everybody thinks, okay, I'm made of blood, bones, stool, and urine. So, and the main reason is the sense enjoyment is the cause of fall down. And then we talked about the Dhyata Vishan Pursa. So there, like Kundimahar, after that, we talked about how the Kundimahar in prayers to Lord Krishna, like says, Janma, Aishwarya, Sruta, and Sri. These four things brings the pride. Then he had given the one each example of King Bina for the Aishwarya, for Sruta, Roma Harsha and Devananda Pandit also you have mentioned. Then Janma, you talked about the Nalakava's pride. So how they disrespected Narada Muni and all these things, how this pride was subsided later. Then humility is the primary quality of faith. So Guru, when we were talking about Roma Harsha Sutta, when he did not get up to offer obeisance to Lord Balaram, so there you mentioned humility is the primary quality of a Guru. Then from the Brahma Himon Lila, you mentioned. So Brahma wanted to test the Krishna's power, and also he wants to show his strength because of pride. Here Krishna is very merciful, so we corrected the Brahma. Then there you mentioned about three things like the excessive utmost humility, then inquisitiveness, and complete absorption of mind. So how the Brahma exhibited these three things at the end of the Brahma Himon Lila. Then you mentioned about while talking about Devananda Pandit. So the Pandita it meant for like the definition of Chanakya Pandit says. So every woman is considered as a mother, and others wealth is as a garbage on the road, and then seeing the Atma in everyone. So these are the qualities of a Pandit. So then you mentioned about the Ardash Thakur and Gopal Chakravarti conversation. So how the latter he was caught by the leprosy because of his offenses to the Haridas Thakur and also offense to the name. Then if you get puffed up, you will forget who you are. So then Maya captivates us, and then we take the shelter of Maya with the Asuric qualities. Then you mentioned about the Krishna consciousness begins with the inquisitiveness. Who am I? What I am doing? Why am I suffering on these things? And what is my real goal, ultimate goal? So then you mentioned about so devotees never fall down because they know that their position and they release the Harikatha, and also they keep the Krishna as the only object, and also they every moment they release Krishna's Katha, and one more uh, they develop the Rati by hearing towards Krishna. And then the same thing, like exactly opposite in the mundane, but instead of developing Rati to the Krishna, they develop Rati to the opposite sex. And then you mentioned about how to protect from the pride. So one thing is taking shelter of mantra and seva, and also the hearing of Hari Katha. So these are the
Yes.
shelters like which gives us, I mean, shelters for us to be away from pride. Thank you so much, Projit, for the wonderful and also giving the instructions like how to get rid of the pride. And the devotees lines are already unmuted, so you can unmute and ask any questions. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. And it is a very extremely precise highlight, Prabhu. Thank you very much. This is wonderfully captured. Thank you, Prabhu.
All glories to Sri Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, any devotees have any questions or any comments?
Okay, Prabhu. So we can wrap up this call, Prabhu. We can.
Yes, just one question, because even the communities also, like sometimes we think, okay, why they are not listening, like when we are managing something, okay, so why they are not listening? Immediately, like we think, okay, I mean, we get puffed up. Of course, later, like we may realize, okay, whatever we have done, mistake are these things. But there might be a little bit of immediate reaction at, if not at the action level, but at the mental level. So how to correct these things? Or is it, I mean, it's not right. I mean, even thinking negative about the devotees at the mental level.
Okay. So, Prabhu, that's a very important point. So, yeah, what I understood from you is that sometimes on the devotee association, people they don't listen, right, Prabhu? And you think that means suppose somebody is not listening to me, so I get popped off. Is it so, Prabhu? Is my understanding correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Like
So here
we may not show the action, but it will be, I mean, at the mental level. So still.
Still at the mental level. And this why it is happening because of there are three things, Prabhu, very important points. And let me explain it in non-spiritual point of view, but it is also spiritual link. There is a point called between stimuli and response, there is a gap. Between stimuli and response. You are saying something to a person, but his behavior is a stimuli to you. His behavior of not listening is a stimuli to you. And because of that stimuli that is coming from his behavior, immediately what happened? You started reacting. And that stimuli and response, that is maybe fraction of seconds, maybe 1/12 of the second that you started responding. But what do the wise people do? What does the Bhakta do? They take the gap. Before responding, what they do? Take pause. Because within this pause lie our strength. For example, within this gap, what lies? Our consciousness. If you're spiritually conscious, that will take a pause and you understand his position. You must be busy in very important things. You must be thinking something great. You must be thinking something about Krishna, that if I'm not disturbing. First is consciousness. Second is your self-awareness. What is my position at this point? Do I have the right to instruct him, or do I have the right to order him? Or is it obligation? Is it submission, respect, or what? That is awareness, self-awareness and consciousness. And also conscience. These three things play, and imagination. Imaginations plays a vital role because we need to imagine whether I'm correct or not, whether he is in the position or mood of position to listen. So these four things are the part of Krishna consciousness. Unless you are Krishna consciousness deeply connected to the spirituality, you cannot manage the gap properly. That's what I understand from my experience. So what we need to understand, we need to be conscious about who am I. We need to be conscious about my position. And I also always need to be conscious about behavior that I'm demonstrating. Because spirituality, devotional service is nothing but one of the very, very ingredient points is not only you're doing seva, but also how you are demonstrating your day-to-day behavior, achar and behavior. If you're demonstrating that behavior, and behavior comes only with consciousness and when you in the practice. So when your consciousness about this, everything, that you'll manage that particular gap between stimuli and response. And beautifully you can manage that, and you'll never be reactive. I would like to, this topic is very big, Prabhu. I don't have the time, but yes, in nutshell, that I tried to explain it.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much for Okay, Prabhu, you can end the class here with Vaishnava Pranam.
Vanchakalpataruvyasya kripasindhubhaivacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नवाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। गुरु गौरांग की जय। All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. Dharam pranams.
Thank you once again, Prabhuji, for the wonderful class, and thanks all devotees for being attentive. So tomorrow we'll meet again at 7:50.